Farm machinery for us is a very important focus area. We are growing 30-35% a year in that space.
Let me come to your growth gems.
The Aerostructures is a business that we would like to grow 15 to 20 times in this decade. I started with a very good starting point, which was the culture of the group, the people in the group.
If you have to set your group some goals over the next 5 years, what would they be? What are the changes you think you have brought? After you've come, the vehicles have got a certain style, a panache. What do you look at before you say, okay, this works?
We want the Mahindra Group to be among the top 50 most admired companies in the world.
Dr. Anish Shah has many firsts. He is the first non-family head of the M&M Group, and I guess he is the first CEO that I know who has doubled the group's revenues in the 5 years since he has taken over, increased their profits 10x and the market cap of the group by 13x in the 5 years that he has been at the helm. Dr. Shah is our guest on our ongoing series, Latha and the Leaders. Dr. Shah, thank you very much for joining me.
It's a pleasure being here with you, Latha.
Well, I know it's a rush day for you, but let me start at this position itself. When you joined as CEO, 5 years ago, no one thought that M&M would be where it is today. I mean, it was a respected third player in the industry. Now, when you think of SUVs, it's actually the market leader in a sense. What exactly did you do different that you could, just drag the company and the group up in the 5 years?
Latha, on this, I would want to start by saying that the foundation was very strong for us. So it wasn't as if we had to do a lot of things different. The foundation actually started by having a Mahindra Research Valley being established almost 25 years ago. And this is something that Anand had done at that time in Chennai. And that proves to be so valuable for us today. With Pawan at the helm of the auto business for many years, there were a number of things done in terms of getting the right talent in place, setting up the right processes. All of those things are things we are benefiting from right now. And with Rajesh coming in as CEO for the auto and farm businesses, he's made a huge impact. His ability to understand the market well, to be able to define what products that need to be done, and to create a different approach to marketing has made that difference. We also benefited from what I call doing less. By doing less is focusing on a few key areas that really matter and allowing us the bandwidth to be able to execute that flawlessly. And our team came in and did a fantastic job with a number of leaders there, from a design standpoint to product development to sales and marketing. We've had fantastic leaders. So I think it's a lot that has gone into it in terms of our success.
I agree. Of course, the point is you energized people. As you say, your capital allocation strategy, doing less but doing it well. Tell us a little more about capital allocation. You closed down SsangYong, you closed down some of the JVs. How will your capital allocation look here on, going by the lessons you have learned?
So it was important for us to first exit a few areas that were in some cases never going to be profitable. Okay. Because it was not just about the profit or loss, it was also about the management bandwidth that was being dedicated to those areas. So it freed it up. So it's, I would say, more of capital and time allocation. They go together.
Yes.
Once that phase was done, we pivoted to growth. Okay. And today we are even accelerating that further in terms of saying, how do we grow faster? We encourage our businesses to come up with bold plans. So we tell them, think big, but think in a way where you're doing less to focus on things that you can do well and do it very well, execute flawlessly.
But in your various verticals, if you have to speak about capital allocation, over the next 5 years, where would your allocation be? What would be
we now call it time allocation more than capital allocation, because we have enough capital. There is a large amount of cash that we have. We are at zero debt. So from that standpoint, there is enough. It's about, can we win in a marketplace? Do we want to play in that space? And let's not do things that are small. So that's how we think about it right now. And businesses that can come up with plans that make sense, where they have the ability to execute that well, uh, we go forward with that, and we are seeing a number of our businesses now grow at multiples. They've been, in fact, even done that over the last 5 years. And when we think about growth for that decade, that is going to be pretty significant.
Okay, why I was asking that is now we've got another big area in finance. Now you'll have not just got an NBFC, mutual fund, insurance. Will finance be a big vertical?
Finance is a big vertical today, and it's a business that frankly had been built very well. There were a few years where we weren't quite up to the mark with our peers, but over the last 3 years, a lot of work has gone in to improve asset quality, to use technology and data to improve the processes, create a better customer experience, and set the business up for success. And we are now pivoting to growth in Mahindra Finance, and we feel that that will be a huge growth driver for us as we go forward.
There were some analysts who were saying that this is 2 consecutive good monsoons and MMFSL does well. You're sure it is on a sustainable path?
We've seen multiple good monsoons in the past as well, and Mahindra Finance, by various different metrics, is in a much stronger place right now, and is very well positioned for that growth path that we want.
Okay. Anything more you will want to add in finance, or you have now covered everything? Mutual funds, insurance?
The business needs to diversify beyond auto lending, farm lending. There's some element of SME today, some element of mortgage, but mortgage needs to grow much faster, and we are looking at various different parts of the mortgage market as well. SME, we've got some key strengths there, and we're looking at expanding that again in a way that leverages our strengths as a Mahindra Group, that is secure and stable, and that's part of the diversification that will help build a stronger Mahindra Finance in future.
Okay. Anything on broking? Because that's the only angle that you'll have not covered. A securities company, you're not interested?
Not interested, because we are starting with our customer. Our customer is in semi-urban India, in rural India, some in urban India as well. And what are their needs? And this business is today a very strong player in semi-urban and rural India, and we're going to take advantage of that, capitalize on the trust we have with customers to be able to offer them a wider set of products. So we're going to start with where the customer is, what they want, and essentially try and fulfill that.
No, you're absolutely right that you'll have focused so much on rural, semi-urban. You're not just a metro SUV company at
That's
all.
right.
As you
That's
told
right.
me that you're not only 14% of your total revenues coming from SUVs.
That's right.
So let me look at the other part, tractors. Will you demerge? I mean, we are in the world of demerger after the Tatas have demerged their CVs. Will you think of demerging tractors? And even for that matter, CVs. Now, SML is Mahindra SML. It's the deal is done. Will you demerge these, list them separately?
This is a question, Latha, that comes up on a very regular basis.
Okay.
And it, in fact, began 5 years ago when I got in the role.
Okay.
And my message always has been, our focus right now is operational and organic growth. So once we feel that we have achieved that very well, then we shall look at structuring options, etc. At this point, structuring just takes away from the focus that we need on the businesses. And while we have grown organically 25% a year for the last 5 years, we still feel that we need to maintain that focus and continue to grow. And once we do that, we shall look at structuring at some point in future, whether that's 3 years away, 5 years away, 10 years away, that I cannot tell you
then we
today.
don't have to worry about it now.
Yes.
What about, okay, since you said operational, tractors is done brilliantly well. I mean, you are unquestioned leaders, and the latest numbers 32% higher, I think, in the numbers that you just announced. Will you look at other farm mechanization?
And we are, because farm machinery for us is a very important focus area. We have been talking about that for some time as well. We are growing 30-35% a year in that space. It's not an easy space because it's unorganized today. There is a large set of products, some of them are fairly subscale as well. But we are going in with a very good team. We've developed a very good set of products. Some of the international acquisitions we had made have helped us build a better set of products for India, because they had to be customized for India. Yes. And with that, we feel that farm machinery will play a much bigger role in our farm business going forward.
Oh, is there anything you will want from the government on that? Because the government is all out to help even the farm community. Does policy need to tweak?
No.
You
At
can
this
play
point, the government has essentially enable growth in these areas, and it is just for us to execute and go forward.
Okay. Now, the other area in which I was all admiration for the M&M Group, Mahindra Group, is the way you all went into Mahindra Holidays. I mean, it was really an ahead of the curve decision. Now Indians holiday in their teeming millions. Do you think you have not really, I mean, you all didn't develop it considering that you were ahead in the field. You'll continue to be in that space and develop it further, or will you want to give up that space because, you know, hotels and tourism has grown so much?
We have 100 resorts in India.
Yes, I'm a member.
We have a set of members who, when they go to the resorts, are really happy
yes.
going there. In the past, we've had some challenges where members could not get the bookings they wanted, but that has been largely fixed now as well. And we've got a huge growth potential.
So you stay put with it, or do you go into other?
We will look at transforming this business and growing at a much more rapid pace. More on that at our investor day, but this is one that we are going to look at doing a lot more with.
Okay. Clearly, because that's the booming industry in India.
That's right.
Okay, let me come to your growth gems. You know, you have Aerostructures, you have defense, you call it security solutions. Now, what were your plans 5 years ago? And have all these, I think even Lifespaces, have they achieved your self-set targets? They're all your gems, right?
They are all our gems. We had said we should look at $1 billion of market cap and then a 5x growth after that. These businesses have done remarkably well. If you look at the key metric for Lifespaces, which is pre-sales, the plan for this decade is to grow pre-sales 14 times. And we are a little more than halfway through this decade. And we've already gone, you know, halfway past what we need to do. And with regard to the land that we need to be able to launch everything that we need to hit our targets for F30, about 80% of that is acquired already.
Okay.
So it's just pure execution from here on. Aerostructures is a business that we would like to grow 15 to 20 times in this decade. Yes, these are off small bases, so the multiples get them to a much larger scale from a business standpoint. And the business is very much on track. It is driven by quality, and we are regarded as one of the highest quality suppliers, even in comparison with some of the large suppliers around the world. And that's what's driving the growth of this business. As we look at our Excello business, that's one that's doing very well from a auto recycling standpoint, as well as a few other areas in energy components and a few
renewables,
auto components.
Sustain.
That it is Sustain from a renewable standpoint has done remarkably well in terms of the growth that it's shown. The InvIT we put in place will enable us to develop and sell to the InvIT, and that will essentially also mean an efficient use of capital from a Sustain standpoint. So we're seeing some very meaningful outcomes from these growth gems. And again, at Investor Day, we will share some of the numbers from a latest valuation standpoint for these growth gems. And we will see that they have contributed quite significantly to M&M over the last 5 years. And we look forward to an even more significant contribution as we go forward through the rest of the decade.
Which will come to the market first, if you have to. I'm sure you list them because they are unrelated to the main business.
Yes, there again, we're not thinking about market listing right now. We're just looking at pure operational growth, and at some point when we need the capital, we shall look at market listing, but not at this stage at least.
Okay. Another listing from the Mahindra stable is what, 3 years away? Or early?
I don't have a number on that because it's not something we're actively focusing on. If it makes sense to have a business listed, we'll go and do that. But more important for us is that focus on creating shareholder value, and as we
as we have done with the
philosophy of do less, which is just focus on what we need to do right now.
No, but there's quite a bit you all are doing even in your do less philosophy. Okay.
Yes, and which is why we had to say do less, because there was quite a bit more that we were doing earlier.
There's a lot on your plate. I mean, it's bigger than a Rajasthani thali that you are handling. Okay, let me...
and hopefully a very appetizing Rajasthani thali.
It is, isn't it? Look at the way the market cap has grown. Like I said, 13x by the time you have taken over till, these 5 years. What's the, what did you set off with? This show is called Latha and the Leaders for a reason. It's not a focus on me. It's because I have focused on certain leaders over the 2 decades that I have worked. What did you start with, and what are the changes you think you have brought to the group?
I started with a very good starting point, which was the culture of the group, the people in the group, and the foundation of growth that had been built. M&M has been a best performing stock for a long time. Right? I've shared earlier that from...
No, you definitely brought a paradigm shift as well.
It's part of the growth.
What did you change?
A much sharper focus on what we do, on pushing all our businesses to think much bigger and pushing them to execute very well. So it's not just about having an ambitious plan. The next day we talk about how are we progressing on that plan, and can we meet it. So it has to be grounded in reality. It has to be one that we can execute very well on, and I think that's been a key part of it. Another aspect is about developing leaders, and that's one we've done a lot of work on. A number of our new CEOs have come from within the group, which is a change from bringing in CEOs from outside in the past. And we're putting a lot of focus on talent development at every level in the company to be able to groom them to take on roles that they would want in the future.
Okay, so talent development and checking back on whether the quality and the quantity is delivered. If you have to set your group some goals over the next 5 years, what would they be? How would you want M&M Group to look in, say, 2030?
We want the Mahindra Group to be among the top 50 most admired companies in the world. And that's a very high bar.
Oh, of the world. Okay.
Of the world, yes. Okay. And that is a very high bar, because the starting point is scale. You need to be at a certain scale to be in the set for consideration. And for that, we do need to continue our growth across businesses. That's where some of the multiples of growth come in as well. We need to live our purpose, which is something that we feel very strongly about. We've always said that we lead with purpose and profits follow. We've been able to demonstrate both aspects there, and this is what gets us to staking a claim to be among the most admired companies in the world.
Oh yes, sir. Certainly on the way. But you all are in several spaces, right? You all are in the automotive space, obviously, and then there is finance in a very big way. Then there is logistics. Which would be the leaders, which would be the new leaders that we should be looking at?
I would say that each of these businesses will be a leader in the space that it plays in. And we are defining a broader space for each of these businesses to play in. In terms of value creation, I'm looking for all of our businesses to create meaningful value. And that's how we've selected the businesses we are playing with. And that's how we're allocating time and capital both.
You didn't speak about safety solutions, security solutions, which is your word for defense. Will that also be something that you see as, because defense is doing so well?
Yes, that also draws a lot of strengths from our trucks and buses business, because with the SML acquisition as well and the investment we made in trucks and buses, it's a very good platform for armored vehicles and specialist vehicles that the armed forces needs. So for us, that's a key part of the security solutions business. Technology that we have in other areas comes in play also. So it is a business that will grow and has been growing well, primarily driven by our strengths here.
Okay. Yeah, you're also an industry leader for India. You're a thinker. I mean, whether it is in the industry groups that have invited you to lead them. How has semi-urban India grown? You referred to it specifically. For instance, Mahindra Logistics. Do you think semi-urban India is something which is not getting noticed? Has it grown? Can you see it in Mahindra Logistics?
We can see it, and we can even see the consumers in rural and semi-urban India now demanding a lot more, and therefore we need a much better set of products for them. Income levels have gone up. India is growing across the board. And this is something that augurs very well for all companies in India. We play in 70% of India's GDP growth over the next decade, and this is one where we are seeing semi-urban and rural India be a key part of that growth.
Okay, what's your favorite company in this entire menu that you have?
I cannot give you one.
Okay.
Right? For me, all of these companies.
Everyone has a favorite dish in the thali. That's why I'm asking.
It's like saying, pick your favorite child, which is a very difficult thing to do.
Okay.
And therefore, I just look at how do we enable all our companies to grow well.
Okay. after you've come, I mean, Mahindra was always good in cars. Scorpio was an iconic car in its time. But after you've come, the vehicles have got a certain style, a panache. What do you look at when the car is presented to you? What do you look at before you say, okay, this works?
The credit for that goes to the auto team entirely.
Okay.
They have been the ones that have driven this, and they've been bold in their thought process, and that's where I would give Rajesh a lot of credit. Pratap Bose, our design head, who's come in, Velu, who is head of product development, and he will be taking over as CEO of the auto business in January, and Vijay, who was there, who's moved to the farm business now. So this team has really done extremely well in getting the auto business to where it is right now.
Okay, I'm catching you on a busy day, but give me a number. What is the number you're working for in the next 3 years? M&M should be this much, or SUVs should be this much. Any numbers that you have given yourself. I'm not asking for a market moving number tomorrow. Say 3 years down the line, 2 years down the line.
So we look at it for each business, right? And what we've outlined for each business is what is the growth that they will have in this decade. Yes, we've got half the decade that's almost over. And that's what we will share for every business at our Investor Day. The multiples will go somewhere from 3x to 20x, somewhere in that range for growth this decade for each of our businesses. I may be plus or minus a little on that one, but as we get the final set of numbers, you will see a very significant growth across each of our businesses through this decade.
Okay, 3x to 20x is really takes your breath away, but considering that you have delivered 13x in market cap, I think the investors will swallow that, will believe that. Thank you very much, Dr. Anish, for your time, and I do hope when we have this conversation a year down the line, the numbers will be far clearer. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Latha. It's been really nice being with you here.